Welcome everybody back with me, Valerie Williams of Dimensional Talent Stream. So good to be back for another week with everyone. Again, I have another special guest with us this week, Dr. Maria with Jodapris. She's a business owner, international business owner, who is gracing us with her presence this week, and she is in the house. So excited to introduce Dr. Maria to everyone today. So without further ado, and we know how time can fly, we're just going to jump right on in. Dr. Maria, welcome to Dimensional Talent Stream. So good to have you aboard today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for the invitation, Valerie. I'm so excited to be here.
Yes. So tell us about who Dr. Maria is. Give us a little bit of your background so our audience can get to know you, know who you are, because I'm sure we're going to have you back on my platform again to continue to talk business and give us some of your secret sauce that you do and hear about your passions and what you love to do. So give us a little background about who is Dr. Maria, what is Jodapris? Just tell us a little bit about yourself today.
Sure, definitely. As you mentioned, my name is Dr. Marie. The full name is Dr. Sako Marie Jemo, but I go by Dr. Marie to make it short. And I have my doctorate degree in business administration here in the US from Argosy University. I am a mother. That's what keeps me breathing every day. A mother of 3 beautiful children. And I was introduced in the business world at the age of 10 by my father. After my father lost his corporate job, then he started a retail business. And at that time I was 10. And he was like, okay, I'm going to work with my family. And you being the firstborn of my children, you're going to work with me. So at the age of 10, I was introduced in the business. I was kind of learning how to be a business lady, a business woman. And so that's how I kind of build up with the business, the love of the business. Right now, I own an international marketing consulting company. The name of the company is Jodapris, IMBS. The IMBS stands for International Marketing Business Solutions. So we do work with small businesses, mid-sized businesses, and large corporations.
Okay.
For the consulting services, usually we work with small and mid-sized companies where we kind of pivot some of the strategies to make sure that they are successful, they are growing, they getting noticed out there, putting their faces on the sales that they need. And for large corporations, we provide outsourcing services like customer service support, marketing support, and we have a lot of services. If somebody wants to learn more about Jodapris, you can go to www.jodapris.com.
Excellent. Thank you for that introduction. So that's a mouthful right there.
A lot of information already, right?
Yes, very well versed. I like to kind of pick things apart. So I'm going to ask a couple of questions. So because you're touching on that international aspect as well, and you're dealing with everyone from small to large, what have you found in your experiences with dealing with the small versus the mid-size versus the large size? What has been your experience as far as what each company needs based upon their size?
Yeah, definitely. There is a difference when working with a small business or just an entrepreneur who has an idea, who doesn't know which way to go. He has this bright idea. I want to start my business. I want to be, for instance, one of the companies that I started from scratch with. They were doing other stuff like in the clothing industry. And then they want to switch the gear and start a marketing company.
Okay.
They had an idea. They didn't know how to pivot things around. So I enjoy working with small businesses because I feel like I'm helping them put the foundation of their business.
Yes.
I help them with the branding. So they've never branded a business before. So you're kind of taking this baby from the age 0, and you start helping them, showing them how they can walk.
Yes.
So I really have fun with businesses that are kind of the startups businesses, because you're helping them step by step in molding what will be the strategy to take, which industry do they fit in, what can you provide as the branding level. Are they going to brand their business as a personal branding, or is it going to be a corporate branding? Is it going to be just a product branding? So you want to you're working with them step by step that way. Mm-hmm. And with the mid-sized companies, those are kind of the business that's where you kind of sit back and you work, I would say, as a team with them, because they've been doing their businesses for a long time. They know what they're doing. You just come in as a consultant to say, where are the pitfalls in what they're doing? What is missing in what they're doing? And then you can bring in some new ideas. You can benchmark what they're doing already. You can compare what the competitors are doing, and then you can bring forth some strategies that they can use to pivot what they're doing already and be successful that way.
Excellent.
And then the large corporations, usually at this point, we're still growing. So we don't have like a direct connection with large corporations, but we do subcontract with large corporations. Mm-hmm. And there we do subcontract. So we kind of go through the platforms where they have large corporations connections, and we can help this larger corporation to outsource with call centers or marketing outsourcing.
Excellent, excellent. So I know that we all kind of have our, what do I want to say, our point where we consider small business versus mid-size versus large. So from your experience, because, I don't think, and that's why I love having people on, and I say this every time I have guests on to Dimensional Talent Streams, is to share the knowledge, because we all can't do it on our own. And it's so good to hear from different people and what they're doing and their strategies and what's working for them, what's successful, and things that they really have to kind of rework the wheel to really make it more relevant and to make it work better from them. So I really want people to know, for those who are listening and who are watching, going to be listening at another point in time and hearing, who we have on today. Dr. Maria of Jodapris, international business owner. She's going to be sharing us with some new ventures that she is underway with that is very exciting, and we're going to be getting into that. But I really want to stress who we have on today, a woman who is very well-versed, very well-respected in her industry. She has that title doctor for a reason. Because of her years of experience in business administration. From the age of 10, she was groomed by her father. I mean, it's just phenomenal. And so she has really been in the business industry for a long time. And we have somebody that's fortunate who also touches that international side as well. And I want to kind of pick your brain with that as well, because I've got all these questions running in my head. But I want to kind of pull back a little bit and say, okay, in your experience, what are you considering to be small, mid-size versus a large-size company? Tell us where your measuring stick is, your barometer, in making that distinction.
Definitely. So when I'm dealing with a company, I want to make sure I'm giving them the best, because my goal is to provide more than what the customer or a client can expect from me.
Sure.
So I don't want to treat you as a startup when you're already at the second level at the mid-size. Right. So the way I put things together, if the client is between 0 and 5 years, and they have only less than 50 employees. I consider them as a startup company. So depending on the industry, we know that some industries, like in manufacturing, they can hire a lot of employees. After 2 years, 3 years, they can hire a lot of employees. You may have a lot of employees, more than 50 employees, but if you're still in that window of 0 to 5 years, we believe that you're still learning. You're still establishing the business. You still need to pivot to see what is the strategy that is working for you. So usually I don't just look at how many numbers of employees you have, but it's kind of a combination of the number of employees and the number of years you've been on the market. So if you have less than 5 years and you have less than 50 employees, you are considered as a startup for me. And for the mid-sized companies, usually I look into companies that are that have a maximum of 250 employees. So if you have a maximum of 250 employees, you may be in the business for, let's say, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, or even 20 years. But if you have a maximum of 250 with a yearly income of 5 million, then you are considered as a mid-size. So when I'm looking into a mid-sized companies, I'm not looking usually into how many years you've been in the business. I'm looking into how much money you're making per year. If you're making $5,000 every, $5 million, $5 million every year, and you are a mid-sized company. If you have 250 employees, when we're looking into employee scale, the 250 employees, then you are in that gap of a mid-size. Now, every business that has over 250 and they're making over 5 million a year, we consider them as a large company. That is my scale. I'm not saying that is kind of how it has to be, but that's how I'm working within my business. That's how I kind of put them to separate who we're working with, how can we provide better outcome in the services we're providing.
Excellent, excellent. Love it, love it, love it. Now, my other question is, now we know that Jodapris is also within the United States and also international. Now we hear a little bit of accent, so I'm going to let you share, the heritage there, and where your business is internationally.
Yeah, definitely. Yes, you hear an accent because I do speak more or less 6 languages. But the main languages I speak is French and English. Actually, I grew up speaking French and Swahili. So from my country, I was born in Lubumbashi. The country there is Congo, DRC. I was born in the city of Lubumbashi, and the main language there is Swahili, and the official language is French. So I grew up speaking French and Swahili. The capital city, which is Kinshasa, they do speak Lingala. So being in the country, we have military who can only speak Lingala, some of them, not all of them, some of them, but as I said, the official language is French, so everybody tend to speak French. But the capital city with the military, mostly they speak Lingala. So that got an influence on us, and then I can speak Lingala. And then my parents came from a region where they speak other tribes. So we start speaking those tribes as well. So I end up speaking like 6 languages.
Wow.
I didn't speak fluently English until I left my country at the age of 22 to go 24 to go get married in South Africa.
Mhm.
I started speaking English in South Africa when I went for my marriage, my wedding.
Wow.
So on the educational level, I kind of got my license on my bachelor degree speaking French. And then when I went to South Africa, I got my master's there. And then come here in the US, now that I'm speaking fluently, got my doctorate. So I'm international, culturally wise, education wise.
Yes, yes, yes.
Business wise, because I started working with my family
Mhm.
after managing the business with my parents. When I went to college, I started my own business, like a direct sales, where I would just buy things and then resell them to my friend at the university. And then between after your 3 years in college, they give you like a 1 year where you can go for training so that you can get that practice in business. So I worked with some companies over there in Congo.
Mhm.
And then when I went to South Africa, I had an experience. I was exposed to the research and the companies that were there. We were building like business model, econometric models for government companies, for private companies. I worked for a tax company there. And then coming here, I was introducing 2 international companies, and I was able to work with businesses, not just here in the US, but also in Canada. So I worked with companies kind of in a lot of countries.
Right.
Wanted to know where is my company, right? So Jodapris, the headquarters is here in the United States, in Chicago, where I am. In June of this year, 2021, we did open an office in South Africa. So now we have a presence of Jodapris officially because we have the registration number and everything. We are registered officially in South Africa. And we have some of the workers or agents that are in Asia, but we are not officially there yet. Slowly we are growing, and slowly we are kind of working with businesses everywhere. But we do have partners that we work with in Congo and some other countries that are not officially yet because they're still kind of our clients. We're not there. The presence of Jodapris office is not there, but we do, because we're an international company, we can work with a company from anywhere. From wherever we are, we can provide the services.
That's excellent.
That's kind of what I can say.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I love that. It's so interesting to talk with business owners and entrepreneurs and learn how they got their love for what they do, how they got into business to begin with, and their love for it. And, you know, they always say the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. You had your parents that were business owners, and, your dad just took you along and said, all right, you're going to learn the business, and chose you. And just with all of the languages, diversity, with the different languages that you grew up with and are surrounded with, it just speaks volumes to who you are today and how you can take one hand and have it here, but you've got your other hand extended because of how you grew up. And because of how you grew up, that hand now can stretch into all of those areas that you grew up in so you can give back. So I just love that. With your experience now, what do you believe? Because I know business, I won't even assume, I'm going to ask, since we have you as our expertise here from the international perspective, what do you feel that there is something different of how the US businesses run versus these international businesses and how they're run?
Yeah, definitely. There are some differences that we come across with. Sometimes it makes it easier when I run the business here in the United States, because I know that I can deal with the business owner right away. When we need to kind of get to the plan, I can reach out to the business owner. I can start making plans right away in seeing what are we able to do and things of that nature. When I'm dealing with a foreign company, there's so much bureaucracy that I have to go through, you know?
Yeah.
So you don't, even if you meet with the business owner himself, but there still have other channels where, okay, you know, this, I don't know much about this department. You need to talk with this person who can explain better what you can do to help us, which is not bad, but it is good that you can face a business that the business owner knows more or less what is going on in his business. He knows what are the pitfalls, who can you help in the business, where can you get the resources that you need, versus, okay, I'm looking to get this resource, who can provide, and you have to figure out with other businesses, other business partners within the company.
Yeah.
That is the upside of the US and downside of my international prospect. Now, the good thing that I like also working with my international businesses is that people are very direct. So if they cannot afford something, they will tell you, I'm not going to be able to afford this. Can you work with me? Can you reduce? I want to work with you, but you know, the prices is very expensive.
Yeah.
They're not going to give you a meeting after meeting after meeting before you know it. In the first meeting, they will tell you, I like your service.
We do that in the US, yes.
This is really good. So they really like what they're doing and they want you to help them, and definitely they will tell you upfront, I want you to do ABC. I want you to help me, but I just don't know how to do this. Can you work with me? I like that with my international prospect, and that is across board here in the US, on the international level, everywhere, everybody do that. Something that is particular with my international prospect is that you have that openness in a place where you can chat with the business owner more or less at a minute. You know, they are super busy. They have the calendar. You have to come in when they need you. They have appointment. But if they really like what you're doing and they really want you to do it, they will wake up at midnight. I'm over here, midnight, over here it's 3 p.m., right?
Yes.
But they work up at midnight to give you a call. They're not gonna say it is midnight over here, you need to wait tomorrow. And no, if they need to wait for you at 10 p.m., they will wait for you. And I am so honored to work with my international prospect, knowing that if they really want your help, they will wait. If you tell them, you know, it is noon time over here, I'm in a meeting, they'll say, no problem. Take care of what you have to, I'm gonna wait for you, 11 p.m., 12 p.m., and they're still waiting for you to work with them. I see that is something that I haven't encountered here, because here at 9 p.m., no more business running. Everybody's doing their work. And 9 p.m. if you are lucky, you know. 5 p.m., 6 p.m., there's no more calls for business. But with international, it is different. And that is something, it's a resource that I get from my international prospect.
So good. So good. I mean, I'm learning as well, and I don't mind learning. I just feel like you're never too old to learn. And if you feel like you're too old to learn, then that's an area that you really are going to have to revisit and check yourself. So I love just learning, and you know, I love culture. I love diversity. You know, I've grown up in diversity. My dad's from India, my mom's from Jamaica. And so, so I get it, and every summer my mom and dad would send me down to Jamaica during when school would break for the summer, and I'd come back up and I'd have my Caribbean accent really, really thick. And my mom would be having this culture shock because she always was like, Valerie, speak proper English. Speak like that. That's not, no, 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 no. She would have because I would come back with this thick, Jamaican accent and yeah, man, I want mama, what, man. He would just be like, Valerie, proper English, please. And I'd be like, yes, mom, but I love it. And so I love learning and I love the diversity anywhere where we can learn from one another and make one another better. So with that being said, let's kind of switch gears a little bit. It kind of brings me back hearing what you said about the differences between your local clients here within the United States versus your international clients. And it brings me back to there's a video I have up now on Dimensional Talent Stream YouTube channel called Business Ethics. And a friend of mine said, Valerie, we really see you doing something, on business ethics, just the proper way to do things, etiquette, like business etiquette. And I kind of laughed and I was like, okay, I don't really see that, but okay, I'll chew on that and I'll put it down. And, the more and more I talk to people and then collaborations and just personal experience, I'm like, okay, I do need to go back and do this video on business ethics. And then it kind of developed where it's becoming a series and is going to turn into kind of a course on business ethics. So as you're talking about that, I'm thinking about that in my head. Okay, that business ethic course that I have out there, that's available. But I want to switch gears a little bit now and have you talk about, because you've got some new ventures that are coming up with Jodapris. But before I get into that, tell us what Jodapris, is there a meaning? Because I know a lot of the African culture, when they have names, they're very deliberate with their names and they have meaning. And they have a meaning. So is that the case with Jodapris? Like, how did that name develop? Does it have a meaning?
Yes, ma'am. Jodapris, it's just to show that I carry my children everywhere. So Jodapris, it's Jovic, Daniel, Priscilla, a combination of my children.
Oh, wow.
My children are my dear heart. I take them with me everywhere I go. So that is a legacy that I'm giving to my children. So Jodapris is my 3 children.
Yes, and for those listening, notice that she said the word legacy. That is so critical. And for those that follow me or have listened to any of my content at all, you know that I'm big about not only a multiple income stream generation, but leaving a legacy. And I'm going to really be kind of switching things up a little bit because my podcasting is taken off and I have a book out and, people are, wanting to promote my book. I've got 2 people that approached me to help promote my book. And one gentleman wants me to do an article in his magazine. And someone has asked me.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you. And someone has invited me to be a guest speaker at a business conference in Virginia. So new developments, but for those who have followed me know that, legacy, building wealth, the whole idea of multiple income stream generation and building wealth is to leave a legacy, And so I'm glad that you brought that up. So switching gears now again, as my wheels are turning, there's so many questions I want to ask you. I'm like, oh, I've got her all to myself now for a whole hour. Talk to us about lessons that you've learned just in business. It could be from, just being here, your business clients here in the US versus internationally, but what are some gems? What are some gems that you carry with you that you learned in business in your tenure in business?
There's so much lesson that you can learn throughout the course of all these years, one thing is never quit.
Mm.
I have just two lessons that I have learned, and I keep on learning on that and building on that. Never quit, and there is no tomorrow. So that's the two lessons. Never quit means what? It doesn't mean that everything you start will always flourish. You can start something and it failed. It doesn't mean give it up. No, it means change gears, change strategy. That's what it means. So when I start something and I feel like it's not producing, it's not being productive, I'm not getting a message of saying, oh, let me just quit that and just start something else. Let me just quit this business and just turn the gear into another business. No, it means the strategy I'm using right now, it's not working. Let me pivot, found a strategy that can work. So never quit. You may find yourself that you started a business and what you thought is going to happen, it's not happening. The resources you thought you're going to receive, you're not receiving. They promised you to finance you or to invest in your business. It's not happening. Still, even if you hit the bottom, do not quit. Get up, found another strategy to get your baby from the ground and run with the baby. And
amen.
that is the first lesson. I did hit the bottom in a lot of things.
Yeah.
I did not stay there. Get up, keep on working.
Yes.
Lesson is there is no tomorrow. So if you come in my word, I will tell you with doing things today. Tomorrow does not exist for Dr. Marie Jemo. Tomorrow does not exist. What does that mean? Does that mean that we're not going to wake up tomorrow? We're still going to work out tomorrow. But let me ask you this, Valerie, when I'm having this conversation with you, this interview with you, you're going to say, oh, you know what, Dr. Marie, when we meet tomorrow, let's talk about ABCD, right? And then when we get tomorrow, what are you going to say? Are you going to say, tomorrow we are doing this, or are you going to say, today we are doing this? You're still going to use the word tomorrow, today, right? So when I have things that I need to do, I make sure that in my capacity, in the ability I have to fulfill for that day, I'm going to use it to the maximum and use what I can do today. I do it today. Whatever I cannot attend today, it's okay. I can push it tomorrow. But I'm not living my life on saying, you know what, tomorrow I'm going to attend to Valerie. Tomorrow I'm going to reach out to this business. Tomorrow, no. What I can do today, I do it today. What am I capable of doing today? Today I'm gonna do A, B, C, D. I plan my today. When I get tomorrow, okay, what was I not able to do yesterday is now my today. So on this day, what am I doing? I fell yesterday. Yesterday is gone. I'm not gonna go back to yesterday.
Yeah.
Yesterday, what I felt is just an experience that I had.
Yes.
I use that experience to see what can I turn in this fail that I had, in this negativity that happened yesterday. What can I pull from that negativity to bring something positive today? Yes. So that is kind of the two lessons that keeps me going in business and that I did learn throughout the ages.
Yeah, that's a mic drop right there. That's a Selah. A Selah. And when I say Selah, Selah means you got to ponder and think and really chew on that, regurgitate and just sit on that for a minute and just let that get all in you and through you. And repeat it back and everything. So that is definitely a mic drop, value bomb, however you want to put it. It's like, what can you say after that? It just kind of brings me back to some of the content, and it just kind of reaffirms that, okay, Val, the things that you have out there are, on track, are needed. So when I hear that, it's like, okay, that reminds me of this, because I did an online course called The Mirror into Entrepreneurship. And it's in my online store on my website. And it is like a 6-7 part series that talks about business and entrepreneurship, and how when you're in an entrepreneurship, one of my mentors, his name is Terry Wilson, and he says entrepreneurship is for everybody, but not everybody can be an entrepreneur. I'll say that again. Entrepreneurship, business is for everybody, but not everybody can be an entrepreneur or businessman, businesswoman. And so it's kind of like that with my mirror into entrepreneurship, because when we take that on and decide, or we just have that innate thing in us that loves business, and it could be for various reasons. We had parents that were business owners, and so we just kind of grew up in that. Or we were one of those that we did that 9 to 5, and for whatever reason, we just couldn't stay there, because we always had that drive that I want to be my own business person, whatever that drive was. And so the mirror into entrepreneurship is, it's a mirror. You're looking in the mirror, and what you're looking at, you think that it's you, but entrepreneurialism, business, is going to pull those things out of you that you can't physically see when you're looking in the mirror. It's going to pull out all the good and the bad when you're in business, when you're an entrepreneur, because you're going to have your good days and your bad days like anything else. But at the end of the day, you're going to have to come back and look in that mirror. But entrepreneurship, it's going to pull the good and the bad out, and it's going to pull out stuff on you that you cannot physically see in that mirror. But at the end of the day, you're going to have to still look in that mirror. And so, I've got a course on that. And so it's really interesting, and it just kind of reaffirms and is like, okay, all right. So now tell us now, we've got about 10 minutes left. Tell us, because we started, a little bit late. Tell us about some of your new ventures that you have. We talked about who Dr. Maria is, what, her business is. We talked about, just your hands being international as well, some of the lessons you've learned in business. So tell us now, what is Jodapris doing? Jodapris has been in business for how long, and what is Jodapris doing as we speak?
All right, so Jodapris has been in business for 5 years now. We started January of 2016. So 5 years going to 6 now. We've been having some up and down, but by God's grace, we are growing. We are growing, and we are so thankful of that. Right now, from Jodapris, we are coming up with a university. The university is called Jodapris University. It is an online university. It is open for certification and degree programs, full bachelor, associate, master's,
Wow.
and doctorate program. So we started already the enrollment for 2022, the spring of 2022. We started the enrollment, and right now we are very excited. Everybody who comes in for the full degree, associate, bachelor, master's, doctorate, they're getting a scholarship up to 25% of the tuition and fees. Woo. So we want to promote everybody who's looking. If you've been saying, one day I'm gonna go back to school, I have children, I have career, it's hard for me to go on campus, you don't have to go on campus anymore. You can study from the comfort of your home. You can schedule according to your family meetings or your job, or you can schedule around that to make sure that you are progressing, you are exploring, just to use the Jodapris language, you are exploring your horizon to make sure that you are reaching your goals.
Yes.
So if you've been looking for an affordable school, you've been looking for an online school where you can get your degree, we have also some fast track where you can get your degree as soon as possible. If you like, okay, I just want to get it done, we do have that opportunity. So we're encouraging people to visit jodaprisuniversity.com, and you can get all the information. You can enroll online, or you can send us an email at registration@Jodapris University. So we are excited for that. And the certification, you can register the certification and start right away, as long as you fill out the requirement. You can start the certification right away. You don't have to wait like 2022 to start your school. So you can register also online, and we are super excited on this adventure.
That's excellent, excellent, excellent. So tell us a little bit about some of the courses for those who are wanting to get an idea of the curriculums that are available to them.
So for the Jodapris University, right now we have 3 departments that we're working with. We have the business administration, we have theology, and we have the linguistic. So the business administration, you have specialization into, you have the majors like marketing, international business, analytics. So the marketing management, if you go online, you will see some of the majors that we have there. And for theology, I'm so excited for the theology department, because, you know, we did partner with Kingdom University International. You know, they've been around for quite some time, and we've seen success into the leadership of Dr. Willoughby, who is the chancellor of that university. We've seen how people are really growing spiritually. And being a Christian woman, I believe that putting together the business and the theology kind of work hand to hand to help us grow. As we're growing in our businesses, we're growing in this world, we're growing also in faith. Because you know what, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you've done on this earth, where are you going to spend your eternity? So we kind of want to be in that journey with you as you're taking the university courses. We kind of want to embrace that journey that you're taking, helping you getting to the to that level of Christianity where you want to be.
Amen. So you're being fed spiritually, and you're being fed physically as you are growing and expanding through getting knowledge, through getting more education and getting your certifications and degrees and so forth. It's kind of like what I do. You know, if you can see, I've got a scrub top on and threw some jewelry on, and I'm trying to hide the little logo over here. You know, because my mother, like you, Dr. Maria, your father was in business. You know, my mom, she was a nurse. You know, she came from a big family of sisters and brothers, and a majority, everybody on her side are nurses. And so, but, so I have that background for, more than 20 plus years, but I had that love of business. And so when I was going to college, she had put me through, private schools. And when it came time for college, she said, okay, we're done. Her and my dad said, okay, guess what, Valerie, you're going to college because, we're educators here and you are going, there's no option. And, we've put you through private school for a number of years. And now guess what? You're going to college, but you're going to pay for it. And my parents, and
you're going to college and you're paying for it.
Yes! And I was like, and I had no problem with it, Dr. Maria, because that was expectation that you are going to go further. My parents were always like, okay, you're going to go further than where we went. You know what I mean? We're thinking we're well, but our expectation is that you are going to, we're just your floor. You're going to go further. And so so I knew that, of course, without a shadow of a doubt, college, I can't help but being around educators, your nurse and my dad. He used to work for the old company, Sears and Roebuck. I'm probably dating myself, Sears, and he was in distribution and did that for years. But my mom, her expectation of me, Dr. Maria, was to be a nurse, just like everybody else in our family. But I had this love for business. And, I look back at it and I'm like, I don't know where that came from, because nobody's really a business person in my family. My mom was a nurse, dad was in distribution. And, but then when I look back, I'm like, oh no, I had a cousin who had his own contracting business. So that's where, so I'm like, okay, it is in the family line that there's business owners. Because I had a cousin who had his own contracting, and he did a lot of bricklaying. So he was a masonry. He had a masonry thing on the side. And so I'm like, okay, so there it is. It is on your side, Mom. So, but I always, and so what was funny, she says to me, Valerie, it's not enough that, I'm telling you that you're going to go to college and you're going to pay for it. I need to know what you're going to study, what's going to be your major. Now, at that age, you're just coming out of high school. You don't know what your major is, and I don't want to waste time. And my parents were like, we don't want to waste. You're paying for it, but you're not going to waste your money either and be switching your major and da, 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 da. So you need to think about what you want to major in. And I said, Mom, I love business. I don't know what it is, but I love business. Like a man loves a car, I like business. So she was like, no, you need to pick a profession that you will never starve. So no matter what the economy will do, you don't have to worry about a job. It needs to be some type of good or service that people will forever use, no matter what the economy is doing. And I'm like, well, Mom, that's your expectation of me. And I know everybody on your side of the family is nurses. And if they're not over here, they're in the Army or they've got their business over here or whatever. But that's not me. I love business. So how about while you're working in the hospital, how about I run that hospital and keep you employed, keep you having, so you have a building, you have a job. How about I do the business administration so you have a hospital to go to take care of these patients?
Exactly.
And so when she heard me say that, and my dad heard me, they were like, okay. But my parents were no joke. They wanted me to have a business. They were like, okay, if you love business, we want a business plan. We want you to write a proposal and tell us what your plan of action is. You're saying business, we want to see how much you love business. So we want a business proposal. And I'm like, what? So I had to have a plan at that age. That was my first experience proving that I love business and having to write a business proposal. But they wanted a plan of action. They wanted to see, okay, what are you going to do now? Because you were telling you got to pay. So what's your business plan now? I want you to do an immediate business plan for how you're going to get into that college, whatever college it is that you're going to do. And then we want to see what you're going to do after you come out of college. So they wanted like a 4 to 5 year business plan from me. Then they wanted to know when you gather up all those bills from whatever it is college you're going to go to, how you're going to pay them off. They wanted a business plan. But anyway, to make a long story short, I am just thinking about what you said about the two things that you learned about even failure and not giving up, and how tomorrow is not guaranteed, and looking at your background and, where that background cut came from and so forth. And that could have been something where I could have easily well folded and said, okay, I give up. Well, maybe, I could have second guessed myself and not really believed in myself and said, okay, well, maybe I don't love business that much. But when they heard me say, okay, I'll keep that hospital going so you can have that job to come back to, they were like, okay, well, we're going to push her a little bit further. But that's the kind of parents that I had. And it's so good whether you have parents or another business partner or somebody in your life that is going to hold you accountable, challenge you. So on those days when you feel like you're failing, you either have somebody backing you that you're accountable to, or you can go back and look at your lessons, your two lessons that you learned, or your why as to why you got in business to begin with. So, but yeah, it's a blessing at the same time, because it keeps us accountable and keeps us going over that why.
Definitely.
Yeah. So tell us, we've got about 5 minutes, Dr. Maria. What is next? Like, where do you see Jodapris? I'm thinking about my parents and, the business plan, the 5-year business plan. I won't do that to you, Dr. Maria, but tell us, like, where your vision, like, where, now that you have this new venture with the university, with Jodapris, and Jodapris has branched out, where do you see Jodapris? Or tell us a little bit more of your vision for Jodapris.
Wow, my vision is big, Valerie.
I bet it
My
is. I mean,
business
it's
is
not enough. It's not enough to be international. The woman has a university as well.
yes, university is the first branch that we have on the company. The goal of the company, as we are a the international company, we're going to have branches and offices across the world. That is a done deal by God's grace. However, out of the consulting business, there's a lot of that kind of run through my head. So now we're establishing the university out of Jodapris, and there is something that is coming. I'm still kind of working on it. I want to let it be kind of a surprise, but it's going to be kind of in the entertainment industry. So I'm just going to leave it there. And yeah, so Jodapris is a bird that will fly. And, you know, as the bird is flying, they're flying higher and higher. And every businesses that are working with us, we're helping them fly as well. And I like working with entrepreneurs because they have a lot of ideas, and sometimes those ideas, they don't know where they're gonna go. And there is also one of my first business when I left my home country was teaching French. Mm-hmm. When I got to South Africa, I didn't know anybody. I didn't know where to start. And I was like, oh, I have a skill in me. I'm in an English country. I don't know how to speak English, but I speak French. So if I'm learning to speak the language, why can't they learn how to speak my language?
Right.
So I started teaching French. And today I have a private French academy that I'm also promoting. The private French academy helps people learn French. If you are a businessman or businesswoman, you want to learn French, or you just want to go for a tourist somewhere, you just want to learn that French to go say bonjour, comment ça va? We do help with that. We provide levels like in the entry level, the intermediate, and advanced level. So that's one. If you go to privatefrenchacademy.com, you'll get more information on that. So there's a lot that we are doing. We kind of still growing in the business and still growing with different platforms, different business tools that we have to grow.
Excellent. Well, Dr. Maria, that's going to pretty much wrap it up, but I just want to thank you for blessing us with your presence, for taking time out of your busy day and doing all that you do to grace us here on Dimensional Talent Streams. We definitely want to have you back so that we can just learn more and just see what, follow your journey and hear all the good things that you're doing to give back, not only here within the US, but in the great continent of Africa. So stay with me, Dr. Maria, if you can. I'm just going to close us out. Everybody, that is going to do it for me today. I'm Valerie, Dimensional Talent Streams. We'll see you next week, and be fruitful and multiply. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.